And now we're live. Hi guys, welcome to our Google Hangout. If you're just tuning in, this is our Google Hangout with me, Steph Nissen, and Heather Heuman, and we're going to be talking about how attending conferences can grow your business. If you hear that fun noise in the background, that's my 2-year-old, London. She's terrorizing the living room, so bear with me. Heather and I are both big advocates for not just speaking at conferences and getting, your business out there, but also attending them. So that's what our focus of our Hangout is today, about more so than just the education factor, what you get from a conference, but how you actually grow your business by attending them. So if you're hanging out with us here on the Google Hangout or on Heather's Periscope, hi guys, we're so glad that you're here. If you have questions throughout, we'll definitely be checking them on Periscope, on the Google Hangout page. You can also send them out on Twitter. We'll be checking there. Just use the hashtag Heather and Steph. Of course, all one word. You know how hashtags work. Use hashtag Heather and Steph anytime throughout the Hangout. Send us a tweet, and we're going to be checking all throughout the Hangout. Just to, if you have questions or if you have comments, we'd love to hear them. Let's see here. So we're here on Google Plus and we're on Periscope. And like I said, it's me and my fabulous co-host, Heather Heuman. Say hi, Heather.
Hello, how are you? Good to see everybody today.
Awesome, awesome. So a little bit about Heather. Heather Heuman is the founder of Sweet Tea Social Marketing. She's a marketing strategist, a coach, a blogger, a speaker, and focuses on helping clients across the United States use social media to grow their business. Small business owners and entrepreneurs can then focus on their day-to-day operations and have a social media expert that helps them in today's busy world. You got to keep track of all of it, and Heather helps you do that. So you'd be just in the best boat ever to have Heather on your team.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, let me introduce you really quickly, everybody. Steph Nissen, that everybody is looking at right now, is a social media manager, marketing consultant, speaker, blogger, and quite a few more things at her company in Nissen Media. She's located just on the outskirts of St. Louis, Missouri, maybe a little bit further than the outskirts, but anyway, that's her nearest big city. But she works primarily with small and local businesses, helping getting them actually online and learning how to actually leverage media to help them grow, not just be on social media, but to grow their brands. And I love Steph Nissen and have great respect for her just as a woman, as a business person, as an entrepreneur. And I can't say enough, guys. Give up on hearts, some Periscope love for Stephanie. Stephanie is the bomb.
Oh, Heather, I'm so excited to see you because then I'll be able to give you a hug this week. And thank you for that in person.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yay. Okay, so again, if you're just tuning in, this is how attending conferences can grow your business. So we're going to talk about a couple of different aspects of that, from choosing the conference that you want to attend, to what you do before you go, to what you do at the conference itself, and then what you're supposed to do after it's all over. Once it's all done, the work doesn't stop, and the potential for growth, that's where it actually happens. So we're going to start with when you choose your conference to attend. There's a couple of different things you got to keep in mind. The first one is the distance, of course. So do you want to stay local, which of course that money aspect of that is nice when you don't have to pay for, hotel and train or plane or bus or however you're going to get there. Heather and I are both attending Social Boom in Chicago this week. So if you are attending, we can't wait to meet you. I know Heather's excited about, the in real life part of social media this week.
Absolutely.
So Heather, I know you're taking a plane in, right?
Yes, I am flying in out of Charlotte, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from where I live. But it's just better to have a direct flight, and it was actually a little bit cheaper, and it's just worth it because that particular airport has pretty low fees to park your car, and that can make a really big difference too. So it was totally worth the time savings of switching airports and all that jazz.
Absolutely. So then that's the thing with me. I live, like Heather said, just outside of St. Louis. I live in Union. So one of the factors for me was figuring how was I going to get from here to Chicago. I can fly, absolutely. The flight from St. Louis to Chicago is maybe 45 minutes. But the price is the other factor. So I actually decided to take the longer route, and I'm taking the Amtrak from St. Louis to Union Station in downtown Chicago. It definitely takes longer, but there's Wi-Fi, and I get to take it nice and easy, and I don't have to go through security, and it's much, much cheaper. Yes, I see Christine. Amtrak is cool. It's true. Granted, the views aren't quite as nice as like the Pacific Coastliner out in California, but it's peaceful. I really like taking the Amtrak, so I definitely recommend that. So for me, that was one of my factors. I have to think about, yes, like Heather mentioned, parking your car. And if someone's going to drop you off and someone's going to pick you up, all of those factors play into, the time that it's going to take and the price. You found it. So here's my daughter. Come to show me the toy. And now she's running away. So one of the other factors you have to think about besides the distance and locale is the topic. So are you going because you want to learn more? I mean, most of us, that's why we attend conferences. We're going to educate ourselves on a particular topic. So Heather and I both work in social media. So going to a social media conference is about furthering our education and being better for our clients. You might be a small business owner who goes to a social media conference to learn more about actually applying it to your business. We learn about applying it to other people's businesses. So are you going more for the networking aspect? Are you going because there are certain people that you want to meet? Are you going to prospect? Are you going to get clients from this, which you absolutely can? Hi, social fans. Oh, it's Brian. Hello. Great topic. Networking and the power community are too often undervalued. It's so true. I can't agree with that statement enough. So picking your topic. So for me, I really love this topic. Social Boom is about social selling. So we're going to learn how to use social media to sell. And for Heather and I, most of our clients are small businesses. And that's why they're coming to people like Heather and I to learn. They want to figure out, how do I use this to sell? How do I use this to really push my business forward? So we go for the knowledge aspect, but also because it's going to help us network. Heather and I are going to get to hang out with some awesome, awesome people. Like Christine, who's hanging out on Periscope. I know I'm excited to meet with her, and a lot of the speakers who are coming. So, and we'll talk about that. And Heather's going to talk about that a little bit too, in the before you go to the conference kind of section of our hangout today. One of the other things I mentioned was prospecting. You can literally go to a conference to pick up new clients. I've done this, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. Been hired by other attendees, been hired by a speaker to do work for them on projects. So you can absolutely come out of a conference making more money than you spent to get there. What do you think?
I just have to say something really quick. I feel like I'm watching a Bruce Lee movie because your lips aren't matching up with the audio when I hear you talk. So it's hilarious because it's like, have you guys ever had that experience before? That you're sitting there watching something and their mouth is moving and it's at a different pace? Okay, totally sidetrack. Just, I had to give that insight.
I love that. That's awesome. I've always wanted to be in a movie, so now a Bruce Lee movie. I mean, you can't really complain.
That's right.
So is there anything that you would add, Heather, to like when you choose the conference that you want to attend?
Well, I think it's really important for people to really budget and sometimes get themselves out of the box that you can limit yourself in. I know that I had an experience, and I'll be honest, when I met Steph last year, she was talking about, like, and it was a huge a leap in faith for me to actually attend Social Boom last year in Tampa. I mean, I got in the car, I drove 7 hours, I paid a chunk of money for the ticket, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I knew it was a good decision, but I'm so frugal and sometimes so tight with my marketing budget that it was like a huge leap in faith for me to go. So I know that I met Stephanie and I was there, and I'm feeling like pretty awesome that like I took this step to get there. Steph's like, oh yeah, I'm buying my ticket for Social Media Marketing World next week. And I'm like, oh really? Like, you mean all the way across the world over in San Diego, like a really expensive like airplane ticket and 2,000 people and like a huge conference. And at that time, it was like overwhelming in my mind, but I was almost motivated and encouraged by her desire to say, this is important enough to me that I'm going to budget, that I'm going to make the money, that I'm going to prioritize, and I'm going to make this happen. And so I am this year, 2016, saying I am going to be at Social Media Marketing World because it's helping move me forward in my business. It's kind of like a next step of where I want to go. And like I said, I think maybe even prior to that moment, not even 10 months ago, it wasn't on my radar. Like I didn't think it was something that I could do because it was so far away, and but I would have to say that I had to get out of my comfort zone. So sometimes you have to get yourself out of the way, get your goals in track of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. And if going to the conference is going to help you move you forward on your radar, then I think you need to get yourself out of the way and have a plan, but put in place what you need to accomplish, allowing yourself to go to these really important conferences. And you know, we're coming at this from, we do social media management, we do marketing, we do consulting. But for you, this might be attending a really important heating and air conference that takes place, 5 hours from your home. Or for you, this could be attending a realtors convention. This could be applicable to anybody. Don't just think that we're talking only to people who are in the social media marketing space. And if you are watching us right now, what I would love for you guys to do is take a couple screen shares and post this on Twitter, whether you do a screen share of the Google Hangout, you do a screen share of me, but we would love for you to post those. Just post your picture of yourself, like engaging with us, and ask us your questions on Twitter using the hashtag Heather and Steph. So I just wanted to do that little quick disclaimer. Here's the hashtag Heather and Steph. All right, go ahead.
No, that's fantastic. And I want to kind of add on to that, to the social media marketing world thing. That was really a point of pride for me, because it was after attending Social Boom last year and, and implementing the things that I learned and really, implementing these things that we're going to talk about as we go throughout this hangout. I was able to pay for that ticket and pay for my hotel and, all the things I needed based on the profits that I made from my business, based on the things I was learning. I was able to pay for it myself. I didn't have to go to my husband and go, this is really important, I really want to do this. I could pay for it myself, and it didn't dent, our family at all. So those things for me, it was just a point of pride. I was really excited. I think I was almost more excited about that than almost attending it in the beginning. But afterwards, of course, it was all about the conference. So we're going to have Heather kind of go into, once you've picked where you're going to go, you've got everything kind of sorted out. What are you supposed to do before you get there, Heather?
Okay. So before you go, and let me ask you this real quick. When I start talking on your end, Stephanie, does my face show up large when I'm talking?
Yes, it does. It switches over for me. So I think because I'm the one hosting the hangout, I think it'll be fine.
Okay, that's cool. And I keep switching Periscope back and forth. And everyone on Periscope, I am watching the screen, and we are going to definitely have time for Q&A. So if I miss your question, please ask again. But the hearts are awesome, and Nutella hearts are my favorite. So I'm waiting to see who may have the chocolate hearts. But let's just real quickly, what we're going to want to talk about now is before you go to the conference, when you're trying to make the decision of what you might want to do prior to, one, you want to definitely be following the hashtag, whatever conference you're going to. So for example, for us, I found my little lanyard this morning of my Social Boom conference, so I thought I would wear it today during this actual Periscope/Google Hangout. But follow that hashtag prior. You want to connect with people prior to actually going to the conference. And you can connect with them on Periscope. You can connect with them on Twitter, on all types of social media platforms. But you can use that and meet new people. And just how Periscope and just how Google Hangouts allow you feel like you're getting to know people better, the same is exactly true when you connect with people prior to attending a conference. So you want to make sure that you follow the hashtag prior to the conference taking place. You want to create a list of attendees and speakers. I don't necessarily make a physical list, but I love taking advantage of lists inside of Twitter. So as people are tweeting and they're using the hashtag, I will add them to a list. So that lets me know that they're either following the conference or they're attending the conference, and that's something that is really important to them. Hey there, Carolina. You are jumping in on a live Google Hangout and Periscope. So thank you so much for being here today. What took so you ladies used to monitor the okay, I'll answer that question in just a minute, Christine. The next tip we want to give you, we've got a total of 5 here, but the next tip is number 3, and we want to make connections prior to attending the conference. So what I have done is I know that I'm going to Social Boom this weekend, and I'm going to be there for the conference Friday, and I'm getting there a day early and a day late because I'm so excited to, one, see a little bit of Chicago, but also because I want to have more chances to just network and really soak this all in. But I have made a point to reach out to 2 speakers that it's very important to me that I want to have time to actually speak with them one-on-one. I don't want to be greedy and ask for like an hour or say lunch, so to say. But like for one of them, I just said, could I have 15 minutes of a one-on-one time to just speak with you, just a little bit about business strategy? And they said, absolutely. They gave me a set time. And so I'm meeting with one person on Friday at 1 o'clock. And then the other person, I asked them for 30 minutes. And guess what? Within an hour on Facebook, both of those people who I've built a relationship with through the last year, it wasn't just this completely cold Facebook message, but it was people who I felt that they know who I am. I've got a rapport with them, and I've built that relationship actually even from last year's conference. But they said, yes, they would love to meet with me. And, you know, one, I said, what's your favorite drink? So I'm going to walk to a Walgreens if I have to from the hotel in Chicago, and I'm going to go get a 20-ounce little bottle just like this, and I'm going to take it to them of their favorite drink. And they can either choose to have it in that moment, or they can take it back to their hotel room and just drink it later. And just that's a small way to just say, I appreciate you taking time to meet with me. Pack. Did I just say packing is a good thing to do prior to a conference? Like, I'm not kidding, guys. I went on a girls' weekend trip to Asheville last week, and I packed in 6 minutes flat. I would not recommend doing that for conferences. I would recommend getting your duffel bag if you're planning to fly. You don't want to have any of the liquid type things in your bag. They're going to take extra time at security, but you want to make sure that the luggage, the weight, and all of those details, but you want to make sure you've got some of your favorite pens, the things that you love to write with. That's going to make taking notes more fun. Make sure you have silly things. I mean, you can laugh at me, but this, my little did we meet on Periscope sign, this is going to be at my table at Social Boom, and I'm going to have this, and I'm just going to like have it sit propping on top of my Coke, because I'm not a coffee drinker, and I'm just going to have this, and it may be a striking up moment for a conversation of someone who reaches out to me. You know, I've got some hot chocolate samples for a different client that this particular hot chocolate has lots of caffeine in it, and so I've had several people say they wanted some samples. So I'm going to put those in my suitcase. But plan ahead. Make sure you've got diverse clothing choices. You know you're going to a conference, and a lot of times business casual is probably the safest way to go if there's not been like an official disclaimer on what to wear. If you're a woman, you cannot go wrong with slacks and a shirt, a comfortable blouse. Cannot go wrong. If you're a guy, again, you cannot go wrong with khakis and like a collared shirt or a polo shirt. You can't mess that up. But, you know, have diverse things in your suitcase. Have a pair of jeans for the group of folks that want to go, like, grab dessert afterwards in the evening, and you just want to have something cozy. It's freezing in many, many hotels, so have a sweater. Very important. I'm cold-natured. I freeze to death, and you want to have a sweater. And you want to pack, here's tip number 5, is you want to have business cards. Now, I use my lanyard little thingy here last year, and if I wasn't holding a phone in one hand, I could see how thick this is. I kept every business card from last year right here, and I still have them today. And we'll talk about this in the after section, but I just didn't collect these for like a mosaic Pinterest craft. Like, I actually did something with these business cards. So take extra business cards and have those available with you. Does anybody have a specific question related to that on Periscope? Or Steph, did you have something that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I did see somebody actually. Oh, my daughter's right here. Sorry. Did see somebody on Periscope who said that they made the connection that you had already kind of developed a relationship with some of those speakers that you reached out to. And I don't want anybody to think that you have to have already done that, because this is what we're talking about. This is before you go. Just start building those relationships with people. So we use like a Twitter list and start making those connections with people, start interacting with their posts, replying back to tweets that they send out, retweet their content, anything you need to do to start getting on their radar, because all of those things are going to help you so that when you do, kind of get even closer to the conference. Granted, Social Boom for us is, in a couple of days. So it's a little late to start this stuff now. If it was somebody you were kind of go cold turkey with. But if, most of us bought our tickets, a couple of months ago, so we could have started then. And then we've built up this relationship as we go. And then once you get to the conference, then it's like kind of almost like greeting an old friend. A lot of people, especially in social media, I found are really friendly people. Go figure. Social media people are social. But you'll find that most people are really open to meeting, or, yeah, let's do 15 minutes. Let's do 30 minutes. And, let's do a pick your brain session. And so you don't have to have that relationship already, but you definitely want to start working on it before the conference starts.
I do have a quick question. We've had some people in Google Plus telling us that the video is a little pixely. So I have a couple questions. For those of you that are watching this on Periscope, give us some hearts if you can see, like, Stephanie pretty clearly right now on your screen and you're hearing the audio. Okay. Okay, so everyone on Periscope seems to be good. So if Google Plus is acting a little wonky, I apologize for that. And I'm not really sure what we could do differently to make the Google Hangout look better. But thanks for bearing with us. But we do appreciate you guys' feedback.
Yes, definitely. And I do see another comment that just came in on the Google Hangout page from Sherry. She said, I'm coming to Social Boom and would love to meet both of you. She's driving from Toronto to Chicago on Friday and leaving at the end of the conference to Des Moines on Sunday, and would love to meet us both. So that's awesome. We can't wait to meet you, Sherry. Awesome. Definitely just come up and say hi. Definitely.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Okay, so Stephanie, the next thing, obviously, the things that you want to do before you go to the conference, everybody, is you want to have that moment of, like, you're at the conference. Okay, so you've made it to the conference that you've saved up money for, that you have, like, anxiously gone to bed the night before, hoping to get a great night's sleep, and you're so, so excited, and you're there. So what do? So Steph, why don't you give us some of your top tips? So I know we've got 3, and maybe a brainstorm will come up. Share with us your top 3 tips. You're at the conference. Share with us those.
Okay, so these are the 3 ones that I kind of came up with when I was thinking about this. And the first one is to be friendly. I mean, this is, it's a little different when you connect with people online and then you meet them in real life, or people you don't even know yet. There's no connection yet. You don't have to be an extrovert to do well at a conference. Just something as simple as smiling at someone, nodding politely. Those things will go a long way. If you have kind of this face of just, I don't want to be here, I'm probably going to avoid talking to you because you look like I shouldn't walk up to you. And you can miss connections that way. So just smile, relax. Everybody is there for the same reasons you are. Networking, prospecting, education. They all want to do those same things. So we're all here to meet people. So, if you can, I know I'm pretty extroverted, so I don't have a problem walking up to a group of people I don't know and just introducing myself. And then that kind of leads into my second one, which is ask questions. People like to talk about themselves, so don't monopolize the conversation. Ask questions of them. If they say something, ask a follow-up question. Create an engaging conversation. It's amazing when you get people talking and you learn something about them, and then you have this great connection. So actually, it kind of just happened earlier in the Periscope and the Hangout here today. Heather mentioned showed off her cuckoo clock, and I asked her where she got it. Find out that she used to live near Wiesbaden. I used to live in Darmstadt. I used to go to Wiesbaden all the time for soccer tournaments when I was a kid. So, that connection, I didn't know that Heather and I had that connection, that we used to live there. And I definitely want to say thank you to everybody for all the hearts. We love those. Those make us happy. And, definitely keep tweeting with hashtag Heather and Steph. Or commenting on the Hangout page. Thank you for that. So ask questions of the speakers during when they give time for Q&A during their sessions, or ask them later if you're not comfortable asking that question in front of everyone. Single them out later and go like, hey, actually wanted to ask you about what you said about XYZ. What do you think about this? Would this work? Or what did you mean by that? They're going to want to, elaborate for you because it talks about them. It talks about the subjects that they're passionate about. So definitely ask questions. And then while you're at the conference, I've had great success with this. This is one of my favorite things to do, and it's live tweet. Live tweet your favorite tips and tricks or moments, pictures, anything that's happening at the conference, because there's a lot of people who are going to be following along. For Social Boom, we're going to be following hashtag Social Boom 15. And I know a lot of my friends who couldn't attend are going to be, make sure you're tweeting a lot. I want to get as much out of it as possible. They're going to be following along from Twitter, from Instagram, from Facebook, all those places. So for me, I found that live tweeting is hugely beneficial. It's kind of what I do to take notes. I take my notes through Twitter, and because then I can have access to that whole hashtag stream, and I get everybody else's notes too. So that tends to help me a lot. Do you live tweet when you attend events, Heather?
I do, and of course we're in the social media space, so it's almost like social media on steroids. It's crazy. I will say this, if you're at the event, depending on where you are, but even if you're at a financial conference, I'd say that try to silence the flash on your phone. I know a lot of people's phones, when they take a picture, it makes that snapping sound. If you can silence that or mute that to where when you do take a picture, and you're doing it in the middle of the conference, it's not that anyone at the conference is offended or it's socially not politically okay. And that's not the case. I think it's very much accepted that you are taking pictures during the event. But just if you could put yourself in the mind of the speaker, and that if every person is click, 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 it's a little distracting to their train of thought. So I always silence my phone so it's not making any sound when I take a picture of any kind, or I don't have any volume on of any kind. And what was really funny last year at this conference, especially in the VIP area, they had charging devices. So everybody who was in the VIP section was able to have their electronic devices being charged up. So it's people were trying so hard to be respectful, but there would be an iPad that someone had forgotten to silence, or some other type of device that they had with them in their bag that was chiming randomly. So try to make sure every single electronic device that you've taken has all been silenced. You will be so glad that there's not that awkward moment and everyone around you looks at you seriously? Did you just have your thing, just tweet, making all these noises?
That's a great tip. So yeah, that's my daughter, Miss London. Say hi.
Hi,
London. So yes, absolutely. That's a great tip. I wouldn't even thought of that. Nice going.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the conference, those are the big things. Be friendly, just smile, ask questions, and live tweet if you can. Absolutely. But the other side of that is don't get so sucked into live tweeting that you are so attached to your phone or your laptop at that table that you don't look at anybody. You don't talk to anybody because you are so focused on the interactions online. Remember, you go to that conference to make connections in real life. So that is important.
Yeah, I would say I've got 2 tips that I want to add to that. One tip is the speakers. If you're at a conference, and most likely the people that are speaking, you're going to be meeting great people that aren't just speakers, but you want to make sure that you are connecting with the people that are your influencers there and look at it from their perspective. Especially if you go somewhere large. I know social media marketing world has over 2,500 people, and the conference Steph and I are about to go to is not quite going to be that large, probably a little bit closer to 500, but still, from that speaker's perspective, that is a lot of folks that they're going to be meeting. So do not feel that it's awkward. Get your camera out. Get the person beside you to say, hey, would you snap a picture of me and such and such. Or do a selfie, or ask them, say, could I take a selfie with you? And then keep those pictures, try to get really good still shots. And you want to make sure that you're using those photos throughout the year and after the conference. It's going to help that speaker be able to remember your face. It's going to give them that recognition. It's going to have you pictured with the actual speaker, and you can't go wrong. You know, you can't go wrong there. Someone on Periscope just made a great connection tip to talking about LinkedIn. And, you know, you could do that before, you could do that during, and you could do that after the event as well. So thanks so much for that tip. Good job. And the one last thing I wanted to say was, when you have breakout, you know, true breaks, whether it's like a restroom break or go grab your coffee, get a list of attendees and vendors. Good job, BR Williams. Good tip. You want to make sure that you're not spending that 15 to 30 minute like downtime just sitting on your phone, looking at your stuff and looking at your Facebook or checking your email. And yes, we know you may need to call home or check in with your family or do something kind of quickly, but be intentional. Use that time when it's a down moment. If you're sitting here, tell yourself, I'm going to go. And I did this last year. I got up and I walked over. That's how I met Stephanie. Like, seriously, I got out of my comfort zone. I stood up and I just said, hey, my name's Heather. I haven't had a chance to meet you guys. Tell me a little bit about yourselves. Period. I don't care if you're an introvert or if you're an extrovert. Have a goal to meet new people. You don't have to like talk crazy talk. You don't have to tell them your life story. But in fact, just simply say, hey, my name is Heather, and I have a goal to meet 3 new people during this break. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And that's it. And it's just a great, simple icebreaker. It's going to give you a chance to meet somebody new, and it's going to get you out of your comfort zone. But if you're sitting there like seriously like this, you know, staring at your phone, it's going to be harder for people to engage with you. And, you know, it doesn't say to everybody through your body language that you're really wanting to engage. Text or email and thank new contacts and set up a meeting. That's another great tip on Periscope. Smart job, people. Okay, so that's all the extra stuff I had about like at the event stuff.
No, those are all great. Thank you for adding those. Those are definitely good. So we've kind of covered, you know, how you choose your conference, what do you do beforehand, what do you do while you're there. So I think we're going to let Heather take over and say, you know, what are you supposed to do when it's all over? After you've made, you know, talked to these people and made connections, collect business cards, what am I supposed to do with all this information now?
Very cool, very cool. And for everyone on Periscope, thank you so much. I would really appreciate if you know anyone who could get value out of tips on attending conferences and how it can grow your business. I would love for you to swipe left on an iPhone device and share this, and swipe up on an Android device. And thank you so much, Marty Bostic, for sharing this on Twitter and letting everybody know that he's watching us live. So let's talk a little bit about after the conference is over. You know, if you have jet lag, you know, I know Steph and I are going to be seeing Sonia, who's coming all the way over from Cambridge in the UK, and there are people traveling, and you get home and your family is excited to see you, but maybe it's like day 1 and you're back in the office. You're catching up from all the work that you needed to do while you were gone, but I highly, highly recommend, and if you can't say, I'm going to commit this first day back in the office to do these things, well, then you need to set the goal of what will work for you, and maybe that would more so look for you like an hour a day. An hour a day, that following week, you're going to do this number 1 tip. That number 1 tip is follow up. You want to follow up with people. You know what? You know, I've got this collection of business cards from last year. I sat down, I wrote a personal little something. You know, I wrote a note on people's business cards when I collected it. You know, if their business card doesn't say they live in San Diego, I write a little note down and says, lives in San Diego. You know, 6-foot blonde, tall girl. You know, I write down just something small to help me re-jog my mind when I get home. So I just wrote a quick little email to every single person whom I had a business card for, and follow up. Follow up with the photos that you take. Don't just come home and do like a photo dump of every picture you took and never mention those photos again. Space it out. You know, if you use Buffer or Sprout Social or Hootsuite, actually schedule out some cute little photos from your conference, even a month out, 6 months out. And it's just going to be great little positive reminders to the people that you met and the interactions that you made, and just continuing the hype. Because we all know, you go to conferences and you leave and you feel like you are on cloud 9. So what you want to do is have that after, be able to take some of that excitement and that buzz, and you want to let it increase and just kind of use that as energy for your connections. You want to definitely review your notes. That's tip number 2. You want to get home. Don't just be busy taking notes and never look at them again. That's going to hardly give you good applicable, practical application for your business. So take a look at the notes that you did. Afterwards, do a blog about it. Oh, you know we will. Do a Periscope. Do a Google+. Post in your social media newsfeed the things that you learned. So if you're a real estate conference, hopefully a part of your social media strategy is you have people that follow you that are interested in the things that you're interested in. So tweet about those things after the conference, and of course give credit to the person who maybe said it. And again, that helps you stay on their radar. Now, you want to definitely leave a conference and having a clear vision on what you want to implement. You could have 100 things that you want to do and implement, and maybe that'll be over a goal of time, but you need to prioritize and say, of everything I learned, what was really the best, what was the greatest, and what do I want to implement, and how am I going to actually make that happen? Don't just talk about it, actually make it a part of what you do. And then lastly, as far as tips and advice for after your conference, you want to write a blog post about your experience. Include some of those photos that you took. Include, behind the scenes insights of people who maybe have never been to a particular conference that you went to. Include, some of the top tips of, 5 things I learned from attending Social Boom 2015. And they may be the top peak moments of varied speakers while you were there, but no one else is going to have the exact same perspective. Are other people going to be blogging after they go to a major conference? Yes. Is anyone else going to have your exact same take on it and your exact personal insight? Or maybe even the dinner of the group of 6 folks that all went out to the, Cuban restaurant afterwards? No. So include a little glimpse of your personal with the actual conference, and just really bring that to life in that blog post. Do you have any other tips or thoughts, Steph?
No, that pretty much covers it. Like, I know someone mentioned it in Periscope, LinkedIn. That's my big one, is after I meet people in real life, after I have this whole stack of business cards, is going to LinkedIn and sending connection requests to get connected with all those people, personalizing that connection request, not leaving the standard, hi, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. Little tidbit, personalizing it with, something like, great to talk to you at the reception the first night. Or I'm glad we got to talk about, whatever it was, Facebook engagement or anything, something that's specific, that because it's not just that it, jogs your memory, but it's going to jog theirs so they remember who you are. Especially when you're the first one of that connection to kind of follow up with them. They're not going to have your business card right in front of them. So it's also to help them so you get the accept on that connection request.
Right.
And then to remember that it's not just about following up the first week. That, if you don't hear from people, that's fine. Not everybody is going to be so on top of all their follow-ups. Wait a couple of weeks, and try again. If it's somebody you really, really wanted to talk to, or you saw this opportunity and you don't want to let it go yet, you don't have to. Just follow up with them in a couple of more weeks. There's no need to be pushy, of course, but definitely, follow up again. There's nothing wrong with that. 1 week, a month later, a couple of months later, whatever you want to do. As long as you took notes and a way to jog their memory and yours to keep that connection going.
Right. We just got a question on Periscope that I thought was a really great one that said, should you actually email people? And some people have mentioned that they did it, but they didn't really get any responses. So here's my answer to that. I always do unto others the way I would want them to do unto me. And you guys, we can all live our life trying to be like everybody else, but guess what? I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm going to be me. And so I think the right thing to do is to follow up with people with a little personalized sentence or two. Maybe you have like a same 2-sentence script that is going to be consistent because it's a generalized message about the time. But I'm going to have a personal something that I say to every single person I get a business card from. Last year I did that. And to your point, how many responses did I get? I got 4 responses back out of about 42 emails that I sent. Is that a high conversion rate of my time? No. But I feel that the 4 connections that I got responses back from helped me continue to grow those 4 great relationships. And if you think about a deck of cards, okay, how many cards are in a deck? 52. How many aces are there in a deck? There's 4, right? Clubs.
Yes, there's 4.
What's the other thing? Clubs, hearts.
Clubs, hearts, diamonds, spades.
So seriously, guys, there's 52 cards in the deck, and there's 4 aces. Do you want to just be the random 2 of spades, or are you going to be an ace in the deck? I'm an ace, and so I live my life like I'm an ace, and so I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to be out there doing what I would want other people to do to me. And if I got 4 responses out of 52, statistically speaking, that's probably on target. Because of all the people I got cards from, and it could be for 1,000 reasons. I'm not saying that they're not great people, but I'm just saying it's probably normal that I got back 4 responses back out of 52. Now, could I tweak and work on my emails to try to make that better for next time? Yes, absolutely. Always room for opportunity to grow and be better. But I try to make decisions in business and treat people the way I want to be treated. So I'm going to live my life as if I am the ace in the deck of cards, because that's the kind of people that I want to work with and I want to interact with. So that's all she's got to say about that.
I think that's fantastic. That's such a great tip and a great point to make, because a lot of people then feel discouraged, and it's not about that. You know, those people that didn't respond, they weren't supposed to be a part of your plan. They're not supposed to be a part of your plan right now. Maybe they will come back around later, but right now, that's just not meant to be right now. Okay, let it go, and get excited about those 4 people who did respond.
Right.
They felt that kind of same connection that you did, and they see that potential there. So that would be so excited about having those 4, and just expanding on those. I see people who agree with me. So yeah, all right, I feel pretty good now. And I know one of the other things I know we wanted to talk about was kind of the social proof of what attending these conferences has done for the both of us. So I have a couple of things that I wanted to share that I can correlate back to attending conferences. Most of that coming from Social Boom last year. That was my very first conference. I had just started my business in September of last year. So I just celebrated my 1 year with my business. And I actually won my ticket last year to Social Boom in Tampa. I found out the week of the conference that I won. So then I was scrambling, trying to find a way to get there and to pay for the hotel and all that kind of stuff. But I'm so glad that I did, because I can correlate a lot of different things back to it. One of those actually happened to both Heather and me. Is we attended that conference, in, what was that, November
7th.
Yeah, 2014. So it was in November last year in Tampa. And then in February, so just a couple of months later, Kim Garst put out her list of the top 30 women in social media who are rocking it like a girl, which was, I clicked on that link when she posted it just because I wanted to see, who do I need to know? What influencers do I need to know? And there was me and Heather in her 5, women to watch.
Yay!
On that list. I was crying. I was so excited. And I know it was a big moment for Heather too. So that was, and I know I can correlate that back to attending that conference. I had just liked Kim's page in November, and just kind of figured out who she was, and then attended that conference. And then because of that and following the tips that we shared, stayed on her radar, continued to build my relationship with her and with other attendees, with other speakers, that, I was implementing the things that, she taught us there and what these other speakers taught us. I implemented what I learned because I followed up, I reviewed my notes, I did all those things. And then there in February, there was me and Heather on that list of 2 women to watch in social media. It was huge. And that has been a big thing for my business too, because then it, puts other people at ease when you meet somebody new. Yes, I've only owned my business for a year, but just a couple of months later, was on this great list. Those lists are put together just because those were women that she knew in social media. There wasn't, it wasn't gauged by, how many Twitter followers do you have or how many likes do you have on Facebook. Those were people that Kim saw that had potential. So those are huge things, and that's been a huge boost to my business. I can also say that, by going to that conference and meeting those speakers and by, really sticking with those connections. I know Heather is also a guest blogger as well, and I am for Agora Pulse and for Social Quant. Both of us write for them. And those are, Agora Pulse is Emmerich Ernolt, and he was a speaker, and that's how I met him. And then I just kept that connection going. I didn't just become a guest blogger with him because I met him at the conference. I stayed connected with him, would share his content, from Agora Pulse, all those things. And then I wrote another post and shared it on LinkedIn. And then I shared it to my Twitter account, a post that I'd written. And he tweeted me and said, "Hey, do you want to write for Agora Pulse?" That was awesome. That was a big moment. And it was because I'd met him then. And then I saw him after that, after I started writing with Agora Pulse, I saw him at Social Media Marketing World. So then that was great to see him after that and, be able to thank him in person and say, "Hey, thank you. That was great." It was a big confidence booster. And that's not, guest blogging at Agora Pulse is not something that it's just a trade. That's paid work. So that affects my bottom line. We get paid for the content that we write for Agora Pulse. And then for me, another place that I, got to be featured at was at Heyo. And that's Nathan Latka. He was also a speaker at Social Boom. So that was a big one. They shared one of my posts, and they just reached out to me 2 weeks ago and said that they wanted to share more of my content and have me be a regular contributor over at Heyo. So that was huge. And that's because I made that connection at Social Boom, and I stay on top of Heyo. I stay on top of things that Nathan Latka posts and keep on their radar. Those are all things that I learned by attending that conference way back in November of last year. And then the other thing that I got from attending conferences that I can trace back to Social Boom and to Social Media Marketing World is, again, affecting my bottom line, and that's being hired. Being hired by 2 attendees from Social Boom who were sitting at my table. Girls that I connected with, and then they hired me to help them with social media management, with blogging, with the social media strategy. So make those connections, because your business does get boosted by these things. Those things happen. So when you make yourself available, when you're friendly, when you're helpful, when you exchange business cards and you follow up, all of those things make an impact on your business and your bottom line. And I even actually went I use FreshBooks for my invoicing, and I wanted to kind of share a little bit. So I went from making, I think last year I made, in just those couple of months I was in business, I made just under $10,000. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't. And I don't mind sharing that, because when we all start somewhere at the bottom. But so from November, I was making, a little less than $1,000 is what I'd made in profit. By April, I was making about $6,000 a month because of things I implemented from conferences. So I went to Social Media Marketing World. That was March. In April, I had doubled my income because of things I learned. When I went in November, I doubled my income in December. Things I learned and things I implemented. So that's my social proof. I mean, for me, I can see it in my numbers. Every time I attended a conference, my income increases. So for me, it makes sense to attend conferences because they absolutely boost my business. They absolutely do wonders for me. Do you have some that you want to share?
Yeah, I want to tell you that Talk Money with Me says, "Way to go, awesome." Christine of Field Social Med says, "I need to hear your secrets." And then Rodney is just joining us on Periscope. And if you are just joining us on Periscope, we are doing a live Google Hangout called How Attending Conferences Can Grow Your Business. We've gone through some things to do prior to the conference, at the conference, after the conference, and now we're just kind of ending with some feedback and letting you know about true applicable, this isn't just fluff, or this isn't just in theory. Like, we have grown our businesses by the conferences that we've attended. Now, I can say I also just started my business last fall. I've been doing social media marketing since 2011, but I had applied it for those 4 years with a different company I own in Kentucky. But when I came to social media social boom last year, like I seriously, the conference started on a Friday. Like I was the Wednesday before at Staples. And do you know what I was doing at Staples? I was getting my business cards printed up. Like seriously, I chose my brand name of my business, and it took me forever because I wanted to be passionate about what my brand was. And I was like, what am I passionate about? Like, oh, I love sweet tea. Like, oh my goodness. So, I mean, I was like, I don't want to be sweet tea media, sweet tea social media, because I really do brand myself as sweet tea social marketing because it's this whole social marketing piece. So I seriously, 48 hours prior to my first conference in this business, I was getting business cards printed that I was very, very pleased with, printed them at Staples, had a really good outcome, and walked into the conference. And seriously, aside from Kim Garst herself, because it was such like a short notice decision on my part. And you guys, if you're watching this, I don't care if your conference is 8 days away. Like you've got more time than I had because I was good to go just to get myself in the car and drive 8 hours to like get there, much less thinking about doing the like pre-connecting ahead of time. But like the things that I have been able to do in my business since then, you know, it's kind of like the 7 shades of Kevin Bacon. Like something always seems to go back to Kevin Bacon in like the movies. But I could say like so many aspects of my business all go back to me being at Social Boom. You know, like Stephanie said, I do guest blog posting for Social Quant. I have an opportunity to use their actual product, which has helped me grow my Twitter presence by like 350% within 4 months. It's been insane, and it's been an amazing tool. I also do guest blog posting for Emmerich with Agora Pulse, and have just had, you know, great confidence boosting, because, you know, when you do your blog post and it's like shared and it's going viral and it's getting like great exposure, it just really helps you feel so much better. I missed that conference. Someone just said they just came home from a conference, and I'm so sorry I missed it. I will watch the replay on catch.me, but if you want to say that again, I'll try very hard to pay attention to what you said. But my business has increased. You know, Kim Garst has been beyond fantastic in just genuinely like being a support system. I'm a part of her Inner Circle Facebook group. That's something I pay for, but the money that I pay for to be a part of that group has been like exponential, and just more information and connecting me with just real smart people that are in business. I've probably gotten $12,000 in clients of people that were either referrals from someone that was at Social Boom and they told somebody else to call me and to set up a time to connect with me. That is like money in the bank. It's not in theory, but it's like $12,000 that's in my bank account since this conference I went to last year, and it's all from connections I made at the conference. So, you know, I just can't put it enough. I can't say enough about the fact that you do have to work it. You have to be intentional, and you've got to connect and realize that people connect with people. People don't just connect with you like your business card, though I do think it's cool that my picture is on here, and when they are meeting 100 people, they're like, oh yeah, I remember that girl. Like it just helps kind of connect a name with a face. But this business card isn't me. Like I am me. And what better place are you able to really represent who you are, to give people a chance to kind of like, know, and trust, than to go when you're actually at conferences, connecting with people that are like-minded in the sense of the common denominator that brings you together. There are people at the conferences that I've been to that, I'll be honest, they're not necessarily people that I might want to go to have dinner with. And then I say, you know what, I'm just not quite sure I'm feeling their vibe. You know, I'm great. They're having great success in their business, but that is someone like their mojo and my mojo, it's just not a good fit. And that's okay, because there are people that they connect with and they are out there doing their thing. And I do my business and I do my thing a little bit differently. And guess what? There are those people out there that I'm a good fit for, and that's what matters. And just, I can't say enough. So that's just kind of like in brief, just kind of my excitement for the conferences and how they can really add money to your bank account, not just in theory be a good thing.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing those, because I think that, I mean, and I saw it in the Periscope, people love that. They want to hear how it affected your bottom line, and being real about, how much money did you make off of it? What actually happened because you attended this conference? Not just this could happen. No, this actually happened in real life. Those success stories, motivate people and, get them excited. So I know I'm now even more excited, if that was even possible, about Social Boom this week and seeing Heather. Because again, I mean, she mentioned it. We met at Social Boom last year and literally had about a 5-minute conversation, if that. It was, hey, we've tweeted back and forth throughout this conference. I think we're sitting near each other. We should say hello. And we took a picture together, chatted for a minute. And then after that, it was just all about the follow-up. And that's what really kind of built our relationship, our friendship, and then our business. And now this year we get to be roommates. So that'll be fun.
So I want to stay true to our timeline, and we have about 3 minutes. And so what we want to do is we always like to end our Google Hangouts, and we always like to let people know that we're here to talk about things for free. We're giving value in every single Hangout we've done. I'm really excited to be able to say that we have done a Google Hangout every single month since January, and we're really excited about what's to come in 2016 in the future. So if you like Heather and Steph and just kind of like the energy that we create, well, stay tuned, because we're going to put our magic minds together while we're together in Chicago in about 72 hours. And we're going to come up with some really exciting projects that we're going to work on together. But both Stephanie and I are both in the social media marketing space. And our passion really is helping business owners be smarter in their businesses. So we just thought this would be a good note. We're going to end our scope. If you would like to work with one of us, you may be interested in one of our special offers that we have. Steph, I'm going to let you go first, and then I will give my special offer. And when you do your offer, tell everybody the best way to connect with you after watching this. And some people may be watching this on YouTube.
So actually, you know what? I didn't even have an offer for today because I was just so excited about this topic. So what I'd rather have people do is, come find me on Twitter, or on Periscope, Facebook, wherever. Come and, come chat with me, especially if you're going to Social Boom. I'd love to chat with you. Or if you're going to another conference and you just want to tell me how it went, I would love to hear if you implemented any of our tips. Or if you have another one that maybe we didn't talk about. So I would love that. You can find me, it's actually down here. It says at Steph Nissen and then _. You can find me there on Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, or just search out Nissen Media on Facebook and you can find me there. So I'm always happy to chat. But Twitter is where I hang out all the time, so your best bet is there.
Okay, very cool. And then there goes the cuckoo clock. I'm sorry, I'll try to talk loudly. My offer was simply that I wanted to offer, and if this is a good fit for you, let me know, but I would like to offer 1 hour, and this would be via a Google Hangout that would be recorded, and I would basically give you 1 hour of free social media, not free, hold on, bear with me, 1 hour of training specifically to whatever you're needing help with. So if you need help with Facebook, or you need help with Instagram, or you need help with just what your strategy is or should be, I normally have an hourly rate of $150, but for the first 3 people that contact me, I'm going to offer a discount of $63, and all you have to do is be one of the very first 3 people to reach out to me and let me know that you want that. And I'll basically have a free 15-minute call with you, identify exactly what you're wanting specifically, and then that will allow us to go into that 1 hour. So that discounted price is going to be $63, and we would be able to have 1 hour, and it could be recorded, so you could watch it over and over and over again and have that specifically for your needs in social media. So just reach out to me if you're interested. And the best way to find me online, on Periscope, anywhere if you're breathing, is just go to sweetteasocialmarketing.com. That's my website, and all my social media platform icons are right there. So that's it. It's been lovely, Stephanie. And maybe we can do like a Periscope together in person while we're in Chicago.
I love that. We should definitely do that. I'm in.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks everybody for watching us on Periscope. Thank you for the shout outs, the hearts, the retweets, every single person who has watched us on the Google Hangout. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you guys very much. And we will catch you next month for another Google Hangout. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.